So in this video, we're going to be talking about some high-level patient acquisition strategies that will help you grow and scale your clinic. So the agenda for today is to go through the 4 core acquisition channels, when to use each strategy, how to layer channels over time, and then what to focus on first. So share the course. Let's help more NPs and RNs build freedom through ownership. If they use your invite link, you will receive a 40% commission anytime they make a purchase with us in the future. So warning, this is the most important video in the entire course. No matter what model you use, whether that's telehealth, mobile, or a standalone or shared space clinic, you're going to need to get patients and grow. And so going over these high level strategies, this will help you get an understanding of what channels that you can use to grow. So pro tip, watch this video in 1.7x speed as that'll help you go through the course quicker and even get to launching faster. So for our overview, patient acquisition is how people discover and choose your clinic. There is no single best way to market your clinic for every clinic. Different strategies work better at different stages, and the goal is consistency, not doing everything at once. So if you get anything out of this, I want you to hear me when I say that you're not going to be able to market every service that you have with the same level of intensity and resources. If you try, most of the time, you're going to get burned out, or you're going to run out of resources or run up the cost of marketing to areas of where it's just not feasible or it doesn't make sense. And I don't want you to do that because I've been in those shoes before. And trust me, I had to learn it the hard way. What you want to do is choose a primary marketing channel and a primary product to market at first, and then potentially add on a secondary channel and a secondary product. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't post on social media. That doesn't mean that you don't do SEO and you don't do ads and you only have to choose one. It doesn't necessarily mean that. But what I am saying is that you don't need to do all of those things to the same level of intensity. You need to pick a primary channel and get very good at that channel with a primary service, because if you don't, what you're going to do is you're going to spread yourself too thin, especially if you have a lower marketing budget. And if you don't get a good understanding around some of these marketing channels and how do you transition leads or potential patients into paying patients, then you're ultimately going to prolong growing your clinic. And so I learned this the hard way, right? We have all of these different services. I was trying to market them all to everyone. And I ultimately found that I couldn't do that. And we didn't have the resources to make that happen either way. So you want to be smart. You want to be strategic about which primary channel you choose and what product that you offer. For instance, in our case now today, weight loss is what we use as our primary offer, and our primary channel is SEO after all of this time. And so, if we were trying to market weight loss and TRT therapy and IV therapy and B12 injections all through SEO, right? Not only will we have to have a bigger SEO budget to make sure that we are putting the same amount of time into each of those keywords. But then also, if we were to then add ads, now we're having to run ads for each one of those services and pay, $25, $30 or more a day to make sure those are getting in front of people, and then manage all the leads that are coming in for those different type of offers. And that takes people hopping on calls or doing follow-ups or outbound calls to all of those leads. And then let's say we were also doing email campaigns. And so now inside of our CRM, I would have to create all these different email sequences in order to send the right emails to the right people. And then what happens when people also want IV therapy, but then they also want weight loss, right? So now they're being inundated with all of these emails, which will just make them unsubscribe. So again, I hope you get my point here in that it's a lot to do, and you're going to be way more successful by choosing a primary marketing channel that you really, really figure out, and then using a primary service to attract people to your clinic to where then they can find out about the rest of the great things you do, or at the very least, they come to your website or go to your Instagram page or wherever they find you, and that shows them the other things that you do instead of you using all of these resources and time to push it all out in front of them. Okay. I mean, think about some place like McDonald's. They have a lot of things on their menu, but different times of the different year, they will be primarily marketing maybe 1 to 2 things on that menu. So this is no different. So I want to hop in here, but just at the start, I really want to get into letting you know that that's the overall message that I want to send out as we go through this is, keep that in mind. What's going to be your primary marketing channel? What's going to be your primary product that you're going to market and that you're going to be known for? Although you're going to have a lot of other things that you can offer people. So first and foremost, let's go over SEO. This is our long-term foundational growth channel. So SEO helps patients find your clinic through search engines like Google. We talked about this in more in-depth in previous videos, but ultimately when people search for the services that you have, you want your website to come up for them on Google. So then they can find you, find your website and come to you, especially if you're conveniently located to them. It works best for clinics serving a specific city or region. Now, I did put this bullet here, but in any case, this is still going to be helpful, and you still want to target a specific area or region. So let's say you run a telehealth clinic and you want to serve the whole state, let's say of Texas that you're in, where you're still going to want your website pages to uh, point to a geographic area. So you may have some service pages for B12 that say B12 injections in Houston, Texas. You may have another page that says, B12 injections in San Antonio. And you may have another page that says the B12 injections in Dallas, right? Now, granted, if you're doing a telehealth clinic, you're not going to likely be doing B12 injections. So flip that out for weight loss or hormone therapy. But you catch my drift that you're still going to want to target a specific location with those pages, although you may have multiple. Same thing with a mobile clinic, same thing with brick and mortar clinics. You want to target a specific location so Google knows who to display your website to when they're looking for you based off their geographic area. So SEO compounds over time, so it takes patience. So it does take time for Google to recognize your website and for you to build trust and authority with Google to where you can start ranking faster. But it is every bit of worth it because it's like having the best real estate in town. When you build up that trust and authority, that's like being on the busiest street because now you're on the first page. Anyone who's Googling those services that you're now ranking for on the first page will see your business, and then that gives you the opportunity to serve that patient. Now, this is a foundation, not a quick win. We'll get to talking about ads here in a second. So again, this is what I advocate for the most, especially early on, because once you get this figured out and once you're in a good position, you can almost sit back and watch the patients call your phone. Now that doesn't mean that you get it and you stop doing SEO altogether. But what I am saying is that once you get that good real estate, you're not having to do as much management around things like if you're running ads and calling leads and going out to events and doing, setting up for those and those types of things. This is all digital. This is all online. And if you have someone doing your SEO for you, you really don't have to do too much, but serve your patients well, and ask for reviews. So next, we're going to talk about ads, which bring speed and volume, right? So ads are very easy because you put them on whatever platform you're going to use, and then you push them out, and then you let it do its thing. And it gets in front of a lot of people very, very quickly. So ads allow you to reach patients quickly and predictably, right? You can target certain audiences. You can make sure your offer speaks to that audience well. And then again, you don't have to be at an event in front of them, talking to them. The ad does all the work for you. So paid traffic works well for specific offers and services, right? So you're not going to usually make an ad that's going to show all of your services. You're going to always pinpoint one service and an offer. And a lot of times you're going to want to do an offer that will incentivize them to act quickly. So likely going to be a discount of some kind, or showing that you are a lower cost option in your area or something like that, right? You might do an IV therapy drip ad that says $89, for the month of September in order to, to do that, click this offer, claim this offer or whatever. And then you either will still send text message or outbound dial these people to get them on the phone and try to get them into your clinic. And so that's how ads work. So ads require a clear message and a follow-up system, because a lot of times, because for one, you're going to likely be using meta ads. Google ads is very strict around marketing for wellness services. Facebook is too, but Facebook has some more workarounds. But the thing about social media, as we talked about before, there interruption marketing, right? So people don't go onto social media to find your services necessarily. They're usually, scrolling, looking at their friends, family, or watching reels or something funny. And so when they see your ad, they get interested in your business and they may fill out your lead form, but it's very easy for them to do that. And because it's easy, they are usually lower quality leads and they take a lot more nurturing than someone who is Googling you with high intent looking for your service. And so a lot of times you're going to have to follow up with those people multiple times and to get them into your clinic and then start paying for your services. And so that is just a part of ads. Now, if you are running Google ads, which you can do for things like IV therapy services, they're a lot more lax about that. But once we get into IVs and hormone therapy and things like that, there's a lot of rules and parameters and restrictions around doing it. But for things like that, then you can get in front of high intent people who are Googling your services, because then you will be at the top of the page because you're paying for that space. But in any of those cases, these things can get very expensive, right? So meta ads, you're paying by the day. Well, Google ads, you're paying by the click and you're competing for that real estate. And therefore, it can get expensive, especially when you compare it to how many people see the ad or click the ad and how many actually come into your clinic. So these are some things that you want to keep in mind, just because this is not a low cost option for getting patients and getting leads, but that's not to say it's not a good option. You just need to react to the data as you do it. So next is events. So these build trust and also give you local visibility. So events allow people to meet you before actually becoming your patients. Also, you can go to health fairs, pop-ups, and community events to build that trust really quickly for the audience that you're looking for. And so this is another way, again, a lot more manual than the other two ways. You actually have to show up to these places. You want a good setup. There's going to be some hits and some misses, right? You're going to get out there. There might not be as many people that come to that pop-up. Because we are medical and wellness clinics, we're not necessarily like browsing like setups, right? So for instance, if someone's doing handmade jewelry, people are more likely to go up and browse. So we have to be very intentional about getting people's attention and getting them to come up to us, or we have to really get out there and still interrupt people and say, hey, let me tell you a little bit about what we do. Hey, we're a wellness clinic here in Houston, Texas. We do B12 injections, weight loss, hormone therapy, so on and so forth, and really put ourselves out there. So events can be highly successful. They're very personal. You can definitely build a relationship with people very quickly. But like I said, they are a bit more intensive. They're not free either. Some cases they are free. In most cases, they're not. You could pay anywhere from $25 to $1,000 depending on the event. For instance, if you go to a bridal show, which is definitely a good place to go to, those things can cost anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 for a good space. Whereas if you go to your local pop-up, your event organizer may only be charging you like $25, but you definitely are still at risk that no one actually comes to that event. So events are a good way to get out into the community and build trust. You should definitely do them. But again, they do take a different level of effort than some of those other two options. Now, events work best when you can collect contact information. So, I have this rule: name, phone number, and email. We never give anything away for free, and we don't receive anything in return. So if you do go to the events and you're handing out something for free, whether you're doing free B12 injections or something like that, you at the very least need to get name, phone number, and email so you can then reach out to the people that you meet at the event very quickly after, offer them a discount or an incentive to come see you in the clinic. And then you can, turn them into paying patients and potentially long-term patients that makes the event worth it for you. Not only the money that you pay for the event, but the time that you provide or that goes into setting up for this event. Follow up after events is where results happen. So this is very, very critical. You don't want to just go to these events and just leave without being able to reach out and touch the people that you talk to. So reiterating that one more time, you won't name, phone number, and email a lot of times, at least name and email so you can reach out to these people. If they're talking to you, chances are they're interested in your services. So they're not going to be mad at you for, getting back in front of them and then offering to them, a discount or a service or whatever to come into your clinic. So again, make sure you do this. I did events for a very, very long time without doing this. And honestly, a lot of it was wasted money. And so I don't want you to make the same mistake. So referrals. Now, these are the highest quality patients because word of mouth is always going to be the best. So referrals come from happy patients and partners. Referral patients convert faster and stay longer, and referral programs should be simple and intentional. So before we go on to the next bullet here, I just want to say that referrals is going to likely be your fastest growing patient acquisition strategy early on. And then it's always going to be a constant strategy that you want to nurture and have throughout. Why? Because this is the cheapest way to get additional clients because you're not paying for them. You're ultimately having someone in who pays for your services, and then due to your customer service experience and your outcomes, they're telling their friends, families, and loved ones about you in your clinic. And so those people that they're telling are way less likely to come in now because they got a good review from you. And when they do come, they have a certain outlook on you that's already positive because someone that they know and trust told them about you. So this is the best way to grow your clinic. So you want to definitely have some referral offers in place when you get launched. For instance, our first referral offer was if you refer anyone for our weight loss injections, you will get a free injection in your next visit. So again, that's lucrative, especially with how expensive, weight loss injections are. Now it worked for us because now we're getting another person to start up on a reoccurring service. So although we're giving a lot to get a lot, it still worked out for us. Now, I'm not necessarily telling you to do that. You know your situation, your financial budgets and things like that, and what you are willing and are not willing to do. But again, that's just an example of ways that you can incentivize referrals. And then also, if you just provide great service, most people are going to tell people about you. So this channel grows naturally once your clinic delivers results. So especially if you're doing weight loss, hormone therapy, also those are two really good ways to get referrals because the results show up pretty quickly and those results are typically life-changing. So how to choose your primary strategy. Early clinics should focus on one primary strategy. We already kind of went through this, just reiterating this here. You don't want to get bogged down in so many different channels. And so what is a channel? So a channel is ads is a channel, SEO is a channel, events is a channel, social media is a channel. Those are all channels. And so you want to choose one primary channel. So again, reiterating here, a primary channel means you're putting all your effort and your resources into that channel. That does not mean you don't use the other ones at all. It's just you're not giving as much effort into those other channels that would lead you to be burned out or spread too thin. A secondary channel can support growth once systems are stable, right? So once you get your primary channel figured out, you can always bring on a secondary channel that you can then provide a bit more focus to than you could initially when you had just a primary channel. And so for us, SEO is our primary channel, and then ads has been our secondary channel. And so again, you in different times of the year, you can do different things. This might be an event time of the year where a lot of big events are happening. So you may, move some resources over to doing events during this time. Whereas during slower times of the year, you might lean on ads or something like that. So it's not a hard, fast rule. You will know your situation the best. It's just, I want you to already be thinking like, hey, okay, what is my primary channel going to be? Or what resources am I going to dedicate to it? You don't want to split attention across all four of these things at once, as we talked to. That'll spread you too thin. And then execution matters more than strategy choice. Okay. So being consistent, executing, that's always going to bring you more than just making sure you have this perfect strategy, right? You want to remain consistent, you want to execute. So some key takeaways here is SEO, ads, events, and referrals all work when used correctly. Different channels serve different stages of growth. Consistency beats complexity every time. Another thing I want to say is you have to know yourself. Know what's going to work best for you, and then likely that's where you should start. I'm not an extrovert. I'm an introvert. I don't even love doing videos. I don't like necessarily being in front of the camera. I'm a little behind the scenes kind of guy. But I have to keep that in mind depending on what I'm doing. So I need to know that, hey, if I'm going to be out here doing events, I need to be in the right headspace. I need to know that my social battery is going to be drained. I'm going to need to recover. And if I have other options that I can do very well at, then I need to choose that option that aligns with me most. So I'm highly technical. I'm very good at that. So SEO was something that I could pour a lot of time into, as well as ads, and actually get those set up. And that made it to where I didn't have to do so many events. Now, I've done a lot of events, and I've kind of went down that path because, as I told you earlier, I was trying to do everything to help us grow, only to find out that that's not the right way to go. So know yourself. If you're extroverted, then you're probably going to be very well equipped to do events, right? If you're not extroverted, but you have a lot of resources, you have a bigger budget, you may be well equipped to, do ads and really react to the data that comes from them and keep improving, because it does take a bigger budget to do that. So like I said, just know yourself. Or maybe you love making videos and TikToks and things of that. So, you want social media to be your primary way of getting patients. So, like I said, know yourself when you think about what your primary channel is going to be. So if you enjoyed this course, please let me know inside of the community. I love your feedback. Book a call with me if you're wanting to get deeper into patient acquisition strategies inside of our course, as well as in our one-on-one calls. We actually walk through each of these patient acquisition strategies in very, very detailed ways. We show you how to set them up. We show you how to configure your CRM for them. We show you how to make ads, set up your ad account, make your creatives. We show you a lot of examples of ours as well. And then, like I said, just ultimately help you avoid mistakes and get moving a lot faster. So we help you with entity setup, compliance, medical director matching, legal and clinical documents, EMRs, marketing, and so much more. So if you want to hop on a call with us, definitely feel free to do so. It's a complete no pressure call. On the call, we'll go through where you are now, where you're trying to go, and if we can help you. If we can help you, we'll let you know what we offer. If not, we'll at least give you a few practical steps that you can take right away to launching and growing your clinic faster. So I would love to see you on those calls, but in any case that you don't, I'll see you in the next video.